The president, during his State of the Nation, said that our COVID expenditure was 17.7 billion. Right? This is what the president said on paragraph 19. Doc, the vice president, says COVID expenditure is 8 billion. Somebody has to be telling us something wrong. So if you go to paragraph 19 of the president's State of the Nation address, he says we spent in total 17.7 billion, which is 4.6% of GDP, on containing the pandemic. Unquote. Doc says we spent 8.1 billion on COVID, which is which?
Okay, so basically, you see, during the COVID time, different support came in different forms. Some of them partly were debt, some were wholly debt, others were also program supports. So what the Finance Ministry has done, and this expenditure that the Vice President talked about, was to talk about the 3 expenditure items that have contributed about 50.1 billion to our debt. And the COVID expenditure solely related to COVID interventions was 8.1. That excludes other inflows that came during the COVID time for budget support. Okay, so there are part of the inflows, and I think the president talked about the totality of it, that came for the COVID purposes. Some of them were to make up for the revenue shortfalls that government experienced as a result of the COVID. You know, importation was slow and all of that. So IMF and the World Bank and other agencies came to give budget support, program support to some specific programs that were not related to the COVID. And so if you distill the two, you get a component of the COVID inflows that came purposefully for program support in the budget, and the ones that came specifically for PPEs, for food and all of that for the COVID. And that is what comes to 8.1 billion.
So the Vice President's reference was to a specific...
On the specific COVID expenditure, not as part of the program support in the budget. So